and see what is happening there. Do you have an access to it?
Yes, Ati, I can see it.
Good. And we have now a stream on YouTube. So people, if you're there on YouTube, we shall be happy to hear from you, to see your comments. So we are here on the whiteboard. Who has access? Rodrigo has an access. Who else can see the whiteboard or the text, the paintings? Ruth, Philip, do you see the
Yes,
text? Yes?
yes, 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 I
So
see it.
Also,
you do. So I thought to read together today Psalms chapter 42 and to see what is the relation between prayer and poetry, how they come together. And for this, I would like to ask for a volunteer to read these psalms. And I would like us to focus in verse 9. But first, let's read the whole chapter. Who would like to read, please? I make it bigger. The letters are readable. Do you see the text?
I can see it yet, but my English not so good. I prefer that other could
Ru-
read to us.
let's ask Ruth or Philip who would like to read, please.
Well, I don't mind reading this at all.
Okay.
So, so this is one of my favorite psalms anyway. Psalm 42 for the leader Mashgil of the sons of Korah. As the hart panteth after the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, while they say unto me all the day, where is thy God? These things I remember and pour out my soul within me. How I pass on with the throng and lead them to the house of God with the voice and joy and praise, a multitude keeping holy day. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why moanest thou within me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him for the salvation of his countenance. O my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore do I remember thee from the land of Jordan, and the Hermons from the hill Mizar. Deep calleth unto deep at the noise of thy cataracts. All thy waves and billows are gone over me. By day the Lord will command his loving kindness, and in the night his song shall be with me, even a prayer unto the God of my life. And I will say unto God my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning under the oppression of the enemy? As with a crushing in my bones, my adversaries taunt me, while they say unto me all the day, where is thy God? Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why moanest thou within me? Hope thou in God, for I shall yet praise him, the salvation of my countenance and my God.
Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. Now I would like to focus in verse 9 and to see what David says in Hebrew letters and see what is the connection between a poetry and a prayer. Fernando is here. Fernando, do you have a microphone? Can you please read the Hebrew? Good morning.
Shalom, Eti. Good evening. Good
Shalom,
evening, friends.
shalom.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I can try
Yes.
to read it. It's been a while since I'm reading. I do not read in Hebrew, so let's try it. And okay, verse 9, right, Eti?
Yes, yes.
Yomam Yetzaveh Hashem Chasto Uvelaila Shiho Imi Tefillah Le'il Chaya.
Thank you so much. Beautiful. Beautiful, excellent reading. I would like us, and good morning, Felipe. I see Felipe. I would like us to focus in two words here and to explain why sometimes we think that in the Bible there's a mistake. People saying there are typos, like wrong letters, and there is no mistake in the Bible. Therefore, I would like to focus in verse 9. Yomam yetzaveh Hashem chasdo. By the day the Lord will command His loving kindness. Uvalayla, and in the night His song. His song. Please pay attention now. I'm going to move to the board and write a bit. Shiro, His song. This is how the Psalms write here. Shiro. Shiro. Yes.
Shiro, is that right? Because Shiro wasn't is must be written with a vav.
This is
instead of
excellent. This is
other-
excellent. I was waiting for this comment. I was waiting for this comment. If we would now apply the Hebrew grammar laws, his song, supposed to be with vav. Shin, Yod Resh is a shir is a song, and with vav, shiro, his song. But here, the word his song appear with hey. Why? Why does not the Bible work according to the law of grammar? What is the difference between hey and vav? Conceptually speaking, what is the difference between hey and vav? And
The letter,
yes,
the
yes.
letter, the letter He symbolizes the vessel, and the Vav is the connection.
Very good. The vav is the light or the connection. Excellent. And hey is the vessel. The vessel here, 1 second. Now, let's try to go into David's mind and see why at night his song is with me. If the letter He stands for a vessel, why at night his song is with me? What is a night in ourselves? I don't mean night external outside. This is not a. I will try to move this because it jumped from another aspect. When a person,
Maybe
yes, yes,
it is the moment when one needs light. It is like the when you are within, when you are
Unconscious
when you are looking inside, right?
yes. So
would
what
be
can?
the
Yes, yes.
Is it the unconscious?
yes.
It might be many things, yes. When we don't recognize a moment, we are like moving in the dark. We don't know what is happening with us. We don't see a connection. We feel isolated. It can be the sun can rise. According to the clock and the day, the sun appears in the sky. Children going to school. Birds are humming. But something inside the heart or within the mind, there is a sense of where do I go? Why this is happening to me? Why am I so helpless? I cannot find my way. It might, again, this is an inner situation. When the sun is shining outside, this is external situation. It can be 8 o'clock in the morning, children going to school, but a person feels inside of his heart a lack of direction, a lack of navigation system. Thoughts are attacking him. Do you understand a bit? So night is any situation inside of us that we don't feel a connection, or we don't feel illumination, and we don't find reason in life. So it's not what the clock is saying, it's our inner Navi system says. Yes, it's also the unconscious. Now, let's look into the value of Shiro with the letter He and see how does this brings us to the prayer and why David speaks in this manner. 1 second, I would like to have a YouTube connection. 1 second, I have to look inside. Hello, Felipe, good morning. Let's look into Shiro, his song with the letter He. Shiro, here we have Shin is 300, Yod is 10, Resh is 200, and He is 5. How much do we have together? Sorry. Is it 515?
Yes, 515 exactly.
Yes. Now let's go back to verse 9. What he says, even a prayer unto the God of my life, Tfilah le'el chayai. Let's look into the word Tfilah, prayer, and see what is the value of prayer. Tav is 400, 80, 30, and 5. How much is it?
515, exactly the same.
Yes. Now, what is the relation between poetry, a song, and a prayer? What happens when a person expresses himself in writing a song or writing a poetry? What does he do? A person who writes a song or yes? Yes?
I would say it that the one who writes a poem or a song or makes a prayer, he connects he became in unity between night and day, between the conscious and the unconscious. You make a bridge between the two poles, because everything becomes fluid. It is not so rigid. It is
Excellent. Yes. Connecting the two parts in ourselves. When a person, because unlike, let's say, writing an essay, and I would like to use the terms essay and prayer or song, or Moses and David. What is the difference between Moses and David? Because David wrote poetry and Moses wrote the Torah. So there is the Torah, the cognition, and there's a prayer. The unconscious express itself to find a connection to the infinite. Those are two different streaming. The Torah in a way is coming to us from above. This is the direction. The Torah, the light is coming from above like a rain. But poetry or prayer or song, they are expressing our bottom, like the bottom of the well, trying to connect. The darkest point in the well tries to connect to the higher source. Do we understand this? Those two opposites movement?
Yes, I think that's exactly how it works. Because the words of the Torah are are always there. They're there. I don't have to find them. But in poetry, I have to find the words. It's different.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, the words are there, but I have to find them. But with the Torah, the words are there, and I don't have to find them. That's how it looks for me. And when I write, I am looking for an upward movement. That's how I write. I'm looking to go up. So I'm finding the words within me. They're not coming out of my head. They do come out of my head. They do come out of my head, of course. But the feeling comes out of my inside.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting because in poetry we cannot say that we know. When, like you say, the Torah is there, the words are there. A person writes an essay, expresses his thoughts. It's a cognitive process. But when we write a song or poetry, the words are coming from within, but not so much, I would say, with the notion of control. They just come. They just pour themselves out. This is a completely different process. Writing an essay, writing a book, this is a completely different direction than writing poetry, song, or expressing a prayer. And a prayer, as Weinreb says, it's not something which is written in the book of prayer, but it is a very individual process which is happening inside of us, in which the unconscious, like Fernando was saying, the unconscious or the dark part tries to connect to the other side. This is the meaning of a prayer, to connect the two parts which are usually separated. We feel them separated in us. We try to bring them together. An example to this, there is here a little drawing from a book, 15th century. A monk is praying from the water. This is the name of the picture. A monk is praying in the water. Who would like to describe us? What do we see here? Thank you, Felipe, for your comment on YouTube. 515 plus 515 is 1030. This is love. That's true. Thank you. Why do you think that let's say the painter, the artist who made this drawing, monk, is praying from the water? What did he want to express? Who would like to describe us? What do we see in this picture? Fernando? Philip? Rodrigo? Rose? Do you see the picture? Do you see the painting?
It for me was I had broken the connection to see the picture, but now I am seeing. It is a beautiful picture. We can see a monk. Maybe he's praying.
Yes.
We can imagine some letters like the letter Vav, maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, the letter Aleph, maybe, because we can see the upper part and the lower part of the monk, and something in between that is. And he is praying, and something is coming down from the sky. You know? And it's interesting that we can see the letter Aleph also in red here.
Hmm. I will move it. I will move the here. Yes, here. Here upstairs. Yes.
And it is the man that is coming from the sky. Maybe? It looks like the tree of life, you know, the configuration.
Hmm. What is happening here? His part of his body is, like, as the painter introduces, is in the water. And what he's praying for, if a part of his body is covered with water, what he is praying for? What is the relation between water and light? Do you remember?
Time, isn't it time?
Yes. Yes. Water is a second aspect of light. So he is in time, he is in water, but what he is looking for?
Well, he's looking for a full light.
Yes. Yes.
And that picture reminds me of the verse in that psalm. Deep calls to deep at the noise of your water spouts. All thy waves and billows have gone over me, which was almost exactly what Jonah quoted in the whale.
Yes.
He quoted the same. You know, when you talked about the whale and being in the depth.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Jonah was in the depth in the whale, and he said the waves and the billows were going over him, within himself. And so this is what I see this monk doing. And it's actually not a bad place to be because that's when you can find what you're looking for.
That's true. But it's not the natural tendencies of us to go inside and to look inside what we're looking for. Usually our tendency is to look outside. What is there outside? But the answer or the connection is always inside.
Yes, and that seems to be a blockage because most people are looking for answers outside themselves.
Yes.
But it's inside.
Yes, the more we shall look outside, we shall find more walls and interruptions. Inside, it's not very common. We don't do this. No, not many people are willing to go inside and to look in this infinite journey. But once we go inside, everything is there. The thing is that we are afraid to let go of the external, of what the eyes are seeing as reality, what the news is broadcasting as reality, as concrete reality. Nothing can be different. But Carl Jung also described this in his book, this process to go inside, not to be afraid to go inside. Also Teresa of Avila, she describes this beautifully in her book The Inner Castle. How we go every day more and more inside, and she warns us from, so to speak, the dangerous moments, that there's a temptation to go out and to find something outside. Yes, this is it. Questions? Please feel free. Felipe is writing. I guess there is something about the time we spend inside. 72 hours, 3 days, love and mercy, was the period Jonah has to spend inside of the well. That's correct. 72 hours. Yes, 72 hours is the time that we need to any transformation. Let's say if people go through a hard or stress period in their life for any reason that they cross, if they spend with themselves 72 hours without company of other people, just with themselves, without movies, without music, just with themselves, in the tent, in the dark, they will heal from the trauma. It's a transformation. Whenever people going through hard moments or stress at work, pressure, stress, all kinds of unpleasant situations are happening all the time to many people. But the thing is to wash ourselves from these experiences, to go into this, let's say, tent of 72 hours within ourselves, and then it is being washed, and then we can continue. Felipe is writing something, but 1 second. I don't see because YouTube is not running at the moment. Fernando, do you see what is Felipe is writing? No more than that, meaning we cannot lose ourselves inside too much time. Every 72 hours is also the time that takes for a seed or for a sperm to manifest as a beginning of life in the womb. The life of a sperm, zera בעברית, in English it's can be seed or sperm. The life of a sperm in the womb is lasting 72 hours. There is a opportunity that the egg will receive, and the new life could start. So every transformation is around the 72 hours or 3 days. Questions? One week ago I read an article about a lady. She was spending time in a vacation with her children somewhere in the States, and she went into a summer hut and the door was smacked into her head and she didn't feel good, and the doctors advised her to be 72 hours with herself, and then the shock, she had a shock, like her skull was radiating from this. She crashed into a door, or the door crashed into her, and they advised her 72 hours with herself, and then it moved away. Now we have here another painting from, this is the beginning of the 17th century, the relation between the water and the vitrage, the light that comes from the window. We have here water pitcher and the light that comes from the window. Light and water. Questions, please feel free to ask questions. What do you say?
Eti, I'd like to ask you about the water, because I know that we usually relate it with time, and it is right, the time, and is 90 is the double 45, is 2 times 45 as well. But I was just wondering here, because this going to the inside, to the unknown, to be with yourself, it seems to me that is related also with water, because it is not something that is only rational, you know.
Yes, of course.
Usually, yes, usually we try to find a place where we can see the right and wrong, the black and white, very clear, you know. People tend to look at this way, you know. This this guy is good, that one is bad. This situation is good, that situation is bad. You know, we are very black and white, you know, the right and the wrong. And when we go inside, usually things begin to mix the Erev, you know, the black and white are not so clear anymore. Everything is a little more mixed. We can see this in paintings, usually. When we see the paintings of a little child, from the kids, you know, the colors are very, the colors are only the colors without mixture, you know. The one who is not able to do the good colors, everything is very only black and white and red and pink, but it's only one color. And the masters of colors, we can see in this painting, we can see the shadow, you know, we can see the mixture of black and white, the light and the shadow. Nothing is black and white only, you know. So my question is about the water. Yeah. And about this going to the inside to solve what we think that is the right mindset or the wrong mindset, or, you know. I'm not sure if I make myself clear yet, but it seems to me that a process happens, you know. We have a process that we need to break down the things that we believe that are right and wrong, and the things that we inherit from our culture and from where we live. So it seems that this going to the inside, you see that nothing is so clear as when we are in the rational mind, we tend to think, you know.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Rational mind is like living in a concrete. Also, like what you mentioned, like we on the way, we collect a lot of beliefs or sort of agenda. People tell us how life is and how people behave and what is right and what is wrong. We collect all of those things from the culture, from people around us, without even knowing or filtering. Like Philon says, he says many people coming from certain families and they continue to behave like the circle commands them. Nobody asks why, if there's a possibility to learn or to do things different. Yes, and once we go inside and we find the well, so in the well we find that this is possible and this is possible. Like you say, the more we go inside, life is more fluid, not so rigid, not so much, it's not like a concrete perception of reality. It's more like fluid, liquid, flexible. Let's say if we look at a chair, let's say there is here a chair, so people will tell you, if you will show different position of the chair or different colors of chair, people still will tell you this is a chair, regardless if it is made of wood, of plastic, or any kind of material. But let's take this wooden chair and we look through a lens, a microscope. We look inside and we can see the cell, the little cells of wood, and we even look through a bigger lens and we can even penetrate more. And you show what you find to people, they will never tell you it's a chair, because only from outside it looks like a chair. But once we go inside and put this little piece of wood under the microscope with the ability to really to go inside and to make it really, really large, and then nobody will tell you this is a chair. Do you understand what I'm saying? The more we look inside, our perspective is changes, and the more we look inside, everything is fluid and everything is moving and nothing is stuck and everything is possible. And from there we go outside and we can do and many things. We can shift the way we live our life. We can go for what we believe for. Once I set a meeting, I would like, before we started this college, if I may, just one sentence, because I would like to you will speak and I'll listen to you. I set a meeting for this to make this lesson with people here from Israel, and I tried to make an appointment, and I said maybe this day, I said maybe this time, and the lady says, you don't know, I have to move mountains in order to meet you. Meaning her schedule in her mind was so fixed that her speech was like, I have to move mountains in order to meet you. Not because it's me, this is how people think. Once they write a meeting in a diary, this is there, this is concrete, this is stone, this is a mountain, nothing moves. But whenever, the more we go inside to the stream, we see, like in this microscope, it's not that rigid. Our perspectives are rigid, but not life. Do we understand that? And from there we can shift. Because usually people go to coach, that the coach will tell them how much to run, how much to eat, when to draw, when to paint, and so on. But once a person discovers his own well, the infinite well inside of himself, life takes completely a different shape. I would like to listen to you. Please ask, share what comes to you.
It is beautiful. It is just to thank you, because I feel the same, and it's difficult to put in words. So I thank you for sharing.
Most welcome. It is possible to move. Sometimes our perspectives are rigid, or we adopted rigid perspectives during the course of our life, but nothing is rigid. Now we're living in those times that everything moves, like in two different directions, but also gum in here also. Once we go inside, this is very interesting thing. Once we go inside, two things are happening. Everything is possible, but also everything is one, meaning is resting. There's infinite movement and also resting at the same time, and it gives a lot of peace. And from this center, little adventures or even great changes can happen when a person goes inside and finds with himself, herself, what do they really wish for. It is possible. It is possible.
Shalom, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello,
Felipe.
Eti.
Hello, Shelton. Toda. Thank you, Felipe. It is beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what you've been saying for not doing Eti. I was thinking about, and I've been thinking about the light and darkness and how they are related, and how in the darkness there is no cessation of life. life just takes a new level of change, that the idea that at night we cease to be is not true. There are things happen in the night that we can't necessarily see, but there are changes in the darkness, in the shadows. And one of the things that happens, I think, is that over time our perspectives change, and as our perspectives change, then our orientation as well. As our orientation changes, whether we age or whether we get more wisdom or understanding, then what happens during the light, during the day, also changes. There's a reciprocal relationship, and we tend to see darkness and light as sometimes being kind of opposed to each other, more of a dialectic. But in truth, there is a cycle that hopefully spirals in a better way, and the transition is really a time to, as you say, Etty, to to go deeper. And we think that, and I've been thinking about this because I've been in transition the last 10 months, major transition, life transition. We tend to think that the transition is a period of stagnation or of blockage, but really transitions are happening all the time, not just during major life events, but transitions happen continuously. Uh, and if we engage in this process of going inward, as you say, Etty, which is a kind of going into the shadows or darkness, then we allow ourselves to give birth to greater periods of awareness, greater periods of meaning, and I think even today I realize greater periods of purpose. And these greater periods of purpose, meaning, and awareness allow us to have more impact and more fulfillment and more, if you will, deeper conversations, both with ourselves and with others. So thank you so much.
Thank you
And
so
this
much.
is what I thought you were sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Felipe. Like the 8th day, Holamaba. Yes, this is it. This is it. It's like to dive into this well and to discover a pearl there. This is the next world, or the coming life, the life which would like to be delivered, like Shelton says. Yes, don't be afraid to go inside. It can be inside even if it's a daylight. It can be inside even it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and it's dark, just to see, to concentrate, not to be afraid from those moments, but to concentrate inside. Close your eyes if you need, and see what this within me would like to tell me, or how can I listen to this better. And the more we concentrate and go inside into this meditation, the voice, words, feelings, sensations, pictures will come, and they will manifest because they want to communicate to us all the time. They are with us all the time. This well is within us all the time. Just let her be. She is there, the well, and we, one with the well, there's a communication, and everything is possible in this water. We can swim there, we can sing there, we can be who we are. No persona, there's no plastic image there happening at all. Many, many interesting things will come once we have the courage to leave our persona, or who we think we are. It's not about our even profession, which is written on a business card, but once we let go, for what do we think we are? Because this is a plastic image. What we think we are is a plastic image. And if we have the courage to go inside, beautiful things are happening there. Just let ourselves be. This is it. Thank you.
Etty,
Yeah.
I was wondering, could we look at the words just for a quick moment again of that psalm. There's a verse 2. I've made a little note here in my scripture in about verse 2, and I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on it. Let me see. Oh no, it's actually verse 3. It's verse 3. It says, "My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God." And I had written in my notes here some time ago that, and I could, this could be wrong, so that's why I'm asking you, that when it says "for the living God," that the word "living" in the Hebrew has some connection with running water. Is that right or wrong?
Yes, yes, running water. Yes, living in running water. Yes, thank you, Ruth. El Chai
So,
is yes, yes,
I mean, that is the connection, like with the well.
yes,
I'm looking for the running water.
yes, yeah. The
I
water,
just,
yes, the water which are coming from the well are Maim Chaim, living water. Maim Chaim, living water. Excellent, living water. And what is mutual here is the Chet and Yod Chai, 18, and Chaim here 18. Yes, in the well there are living water. Yes,
and then that takes on a different meaning to like just living, because you think, well, just living. But running water, that's the well within.
yes, yes.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for the question. It's excellent. Questions, thoughts, impressions. El Chai is 49. Yes, yes, Felipe. El Chai, living God. Living God in Hebrew is 49. El Chai. El Chai. Living God. Excellent. Because once we add, interestingly, to the 49 the 1, the source, then we have 50, it is Bina. Yes.
Jubilee.
Jubilee. Yes. Yes. El Chai.
Yes, I was thinking exactly about this, Eti, because I was listening this morning to your podcast, and congratulations for this new episode
Thank
about the Yom Kippur and the Jubilee,
you.
and
Yes.
this ability to look at things with joy, with looking from Binah perspective. Maybe the living God is related with this water above, this ability to see things not so rigid, to see things, to laugh, to see as not a big deal.
Yes. Yes. When we see the perspective from the Yom Kippur or Binah or the Jubilee, just love. Just the comment is just love and joy and happiness. Yes. It's a great happiness. Because there's not so much identification with the body, not the physical body, and not the persona, and not the name, even not even the name of a personal name, just the perspective of a soul hovering. It's a beautiful perspective. Because why do I say there is no perspective of a body? Because when a person has a grudge for something, something or someone, the sense of grudge or even anger, let's say even grudge, it's something. It's like a barrier. It's like a matter. And this is like a body. It's something that separates. the expansion of the soul, because grudge is like darkness. It's like a barrier, and the soul cannot expand because there's a barrier, that there's blockage. So in Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, when a person cleans himself, just leave the grudges, all kinds of I did not do this, I did not do that, he didn't do this, life could be different, better, and so we leave all of those thoughts behind, all of those drafts of thoughts behind, and we come to another perspective, like a white page, new page, his perspective. It's a great joy, because there's not so much identification with our CV, with our biography, with our physical family, physical surrounding. We let go of all of this. And then comes this perspective of the 8th day, Olam Haba, Binah, the infinite well. It is very important to have to clean all of those drafts that we carry. Maybe since we're children, maybe from former lifetimes, who knows. Just to let them go, let them go. And then comes a great joy. Because God is joy. If we don't feel joy, there is something that separates us. What usually separates us is all kinds of sensations or thoughts, grudges, anger, like it could be better, it could be different. All of those things are coming, and as a separators, is to remove those separators, and then the natural joy will come, because it comes with the breath. If you're not happy in a certain moment, because we are blocking something inside, just try to find out what is blocking, because while we're inhaling, this is joy. This is it. Questions or thoughts? Or impressions even. Shelton, would you like to say something? Ruth? Fernando? Rodrigo?
Not at this time, but thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Rodrigo, would you like to say something?
No, actually, just to say thank you. What you share, it's amazing, and I have a lot to think about this, and just say thank you very much.
Most welcome. Fernando, would you like to say something? Ask a question?
Oh, Eti, yeah. I just want to thank you. I am thinking about all of this because it is interesting when we think that everything is perfect, everything is nice, and we do not have the control of life. So, because usually we tend to think that it is only from if the world assume what we think that is right, the world will be better, But the fact is that we do not know. So let's say that the better bet that we have to say is to feel joy and to enjoy the day and to be aware that the grace is always present.
Yes. This is it. The grace is always present. Thank you, Fernando. And we have a friend from India, Ben. So shalom, shalom. We're very happy that you're here. Thank you, Felipe. So, dear infinite friends, I would like to say, yes, Philip, would you like to say something?
If I could maybe ask you a question, a little off topic.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned before, and you asked Kevin at one stage that you had some interest in coding. Is that right?
I mentioned that, yes, that Kevin, yes, Kevin is coding. Yes, yes.
Oh, that Kevin does coding. Is that the
Ye-
case?
You can ask. Yes, you can ask.
Okay, no problem. It wasn't that you were looking to get some code or nothing like that.
No, no, I just mentioned it.
No problem. That's fine then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming here today. I would like to wish all of you here who participate in class, listen in YouTube, the entire universe, a very good year, beautiful year, with a lot of love, mercy, creativity, joy, and happiness. שנה טובה, לשנה טובה תיכתבו ותחתמו.
Thank you, Eti. Shana Tova, friends.
שנה טובה,
It's
and thank you so much, and see you on Thursday. Yes, this week we
Yes.
shall meet on Thursday. Thank you so much for coming, and connect to the well. Connect to the well within, the infinite well. You'll be
Amen.
rich. Thank you.
Shalom, shalom.
Amen.
Touch.
Shalom.